Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
That's 2 now. You got me, Sean. 2. No, actually, yesterday you screwed me 3 times in a row now, Sean. And I bailed you out yesterday, Sean.
With the jinxing of myself with Clemson when I thought I had it when it was 20-3.
Yes, he texted me. He goes, "Oh, I'm going to win all this money. I'm gonna be like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow." And then all of a sudden, here comes Iowa State. And I said, "Okay, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to unjinx you now for counting those chickens before they hatch." But you triple jinxed me in the last 2 days, my man.
No, I don't know about that.
All right,
depends.
you screwed me on the over by a hook by joining me with that. Screwed me with the Lakers by joining me last night by the hooks. That's 2 hooks. But you talked me out of the Utah Jazz. That's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You know what that means?
No,
you're out.
Report the injury. So Utah, I just report the injury. So
no. You're like, oh, yeah. Donovan Mitchell's out. I'm like, oh, okay, you're right. You know, I thought he was in. And they won by what, 20? That was the easiest line of the night.
Yeah. Well,
thanks, Sean.
That just shows how bad Portland is right now.
Just shows how bad Sean wants me to go down in flames, baby. 1, 2, 3 strikes.
You're going down with me.
Well, that don't sound right, bro. All right, man. Let's talk about any kind. Well, you know, there's a ton of injuries probably and COVIDs and all that kind of stuff going on, but at least no college football games canceled today yet, right?
No, they're all good.
They haven't all started yet, but maybe we can make it through the day without all sorts of cancellations. So, well, you got a big list, I'm sure, of dudes that ain't feeling well. Who are they?
So Cleveland's got a bunch of injuries. They're pretty much all the same. The only thing to be added was Ricky Rubio was out for the year as of the other day. And he was starting to play really good, and, you know, they just keep adding to the injury list, so that's not good. You know, the Wizards got a whole list pretty much the same as it's been. Bradley Beal, again, is questionable.
But he's got a shot now, so how can he – I don't know. Shouldn't he be all right now? They made a big deal out of him finally getting the shot, right? It's all over, like, all the like Yahoo News, MSN News, like, oh, look, Bradley Beal got a shot, so should you. Like, if he's the purveyor of all medical things. I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly. We think Bradley Beal is the one that we got to wait for.
He's a great 3-point shooter. I don't know what he thinks about COVID is up to him.
The Bucks are relatively healthy, probably the healthiest they've been all year. Magic still's got their same old big list.
Yeah, even if they're healthy, though, are they healthy?
No, not really.
It's pretty healthy to bet against them. Yes, indeed.
The Nets are starting to get healthier too, and they'll even be really healthy in a week or two when Kyrie Irving comes back.
Yes, and now
Sixers,
if he gets a shot, that'll probably lead the nightly news.
Yeah,
right? They'll probably, like, you know, when you're watching TV and they have like those emergency situations when they break in.
Yeah.
Hey, they'll break in. Breaking news: Kyrie Irving gets the shot. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, hypocrite Kyrie Irving, who didn't want the shot, now has the shot. The Sixers.
Looks like you're getting shot.
Yeah. Good for that word, huh?
That was right in the eye. You have a much better temperament than I. Let me tell you that.
Yeah. Sixers, Danny Green's still out. They got a couple other guys. Shake Milton's questionable. Nuggets got a whole list again, and they had a whole list the other day when they went into Golden State and won. And Golden State, Draymond Green's out again with health and safety precautions. Yep, protocols. So and that's pretty much it.
He's got the positive test for the vid, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much it. I mean, most of it's the same long list as it was. Mm-hmm. Couple players added, and more I'm sure will be added by the end.
So if you were on Tennessee, you were feeling pretty good, but right now Purdue's probably come if they can score a touchdown, they'll be within the maybe I don't know if they're going to score a touchdown or not, but they'll be within they score a touchdown, will be within a 2-point conversion of tying the game. All right.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing too, right? Like earlier, man, South Carolina, they were undermanned and they crushed North Carolina.
Yeah, that kid that cost himself a lot of draft stock. You know, with these protocols and with the COVID and stuff, Sean, there are all sorts of people, again, making some big bets. The lines move around, so you can't really you can't really say that the lines are moving around because of betting. The lines are moving around because people are may or may not play. So looking at the big bets tonight, a lot of money on the Nets, 99 cents on the Nets, 98 cents on the dollar, despite the injuries. 96% of the money on the over in that game, Sean. $98 on the Bucks, like you talked about. 88 cents on the Warriors, Sean. So you got a lot of big bets again tonight.
Yeah. I mean, people are still they're betting you even though you don't know what's going to happen. They're betting them, and they're betting them early and often.
And heavy, really heavy. Despite the Draymond Green being out. So, what are you going to bet in the NBA?
Another way.
I'm going to take. What do I have here?
Get your tablet and go upstairs.
I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have any basketball game actually. I wanted to go the Wizards, but even that I didn't trust. Yes. But the Cavs got a lot of players out again. They're only giving up 3. I got nothing.
So I'm going to take the over in the Cleveland-Washington game, Sean. Despite the injuries, both of these teams, one of the things Cleveland was known for was defense, right? They were one of the top defenses in the league coming into the last couple of actually I think they were second at home, second on the road, one of the top defenses across the league. And one of the things that's happened as these players have been getting injured is they've been letting up more and more points. So Washington lets up a lot of points too. The total in this game is 210.5, Sean. And I think if I look back, Washington's gone over that number. I think like 9 out of the last 10 games, 8 out of the last 10 games. And then as far as where does the number on that game? Let's see. The total in that game right now, live number is 210. So I can do 210 minus 110, Sean. So 210 minus 110 for me on the over. And then Golden State laying 6 in Denver, Sean. I think Golden State coming off an embarrassing defeat the other day. They're going to rebound and look to do like Sean always says the team wants to do, and that's make a statement. So I'm going to take Golden State. I'm going to lay right now. The number is 6, and that's a line that's moved from 4 to 6. So I'm going to take that for minus 110. Those are my 2 NBA plays for today.
Yeah, the Golden State thing. Yeah, the Golden State thing, that usually is what happens. You would expect, you'd love taking Denver plus 6 since they won the other day, but really they had a great start and then they struggled to hold on. So
what was it like 86 to 83 or something like that?
Yeah, it was a really low score. I don't even know what the over under is now because it's off the DraftKings.
The over under in that game right now is 213.5. I have the game going slightly under. I have them coming in exactly 213. So it's a dumb soccer push in basketball. How about that in the NBA? College football, Sean, has got a couple of games on the schedule tonight. You have Pittsburgh and Michigan State and Arizona and Wisconsin. So the Big Ten gets to make itself known today. As I mentioned, Tennessee got off to a fast start. The SEC, which is let's talk about that for a little bit. They're 0-4, Sean. So it could be that the top 2 or 3 teams in the SEC are really good, but everybody else in that conference, I don't want to say is garbage, but is just not as good as folks make the SEC out to be.
I think definitely in the last year or two, you can definitely make that argument.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, let's see if Purdue can come back. If Purdue can come back from a 14-point deficit and beat Tennessee, I think that would be a really a bad loss for Tennessee because you should be able to control the game if you're up 14 from there.
Especially Purdue's missing one of their bigger offensive players and their best defensive player. So, yeah.
Right. Pittsburgh and Michigan State, Sean, what's going on there?
So Kenny Pickett's out of this game.
The quarterback?
For Pittsburgh, yeah. So I'm going to take Michigan State giving up the points.
You're going to take Michigan State giving up the points, huh? Well, I don't know. That puts us on opposite ends of each other, Sean. I'm going to take Pittsburgh still because I feel like
their best player by far.
The quarterback?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm going to be wrong. But I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I mean, if you think about it, the line is Pittsburgh getting 3. Pittsburgh is getting 3.5. Some places they're minus 3.5, Sean, but that line's flipped around upside down again. Seems like Bet365, they have somebody in the front office that's not very good at data entry, right?
Apparently.
So, I mean, if you think, wouldn't it be great that you can take Michigan State plus 3.5 and then head on over to the other book and then take Pittsburgh plus 3.5. And if the game comes somewhere in the middle of that 7 points, you win both ways.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if you actually went to Bet365 if it still has it that way or not.
Yeah, I'm saying it's somebody's just a typographical error. Somebody went wrong button. Anyway, I'm going to take Pittsburgh because when I look at this, the one thing Michigan State can't really defend the pass, and I know Pickett's out, but I feel like they'll still be able to throw the ball because the kid who's going to come in for him wants to show he can play football.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, some of these bowls that's happening, and then some of these bowls are just really bad with the quarterbacks coming in. So there's only one that we'll find out. Yeah,
and I'm a Big Ten fan, so I want Michigan State to win, but I feel like looking at the matchups, Pittsburgh is going to score points, Sean, regardless of who's playing quarterback. Arizona State and Washington, Sean, two really bad offenses against two really kind of good defenses. The total in this game is 41.5. Do you think? I think they could play 6 quarters and they might not get over that number.
Yeah, so my predicament here, and I think I'm going the under, but my predicament here too is if you're thinking the under, it's very hard to who's betting Wisconsin giving up over a touchdown with that offense would be the thing. But Arizona State's offense can be bad too, and they're missing some players. So my official play is going to be the under, but I did go back and forth with should I just take Arizona plus 7.5 too, because Wisconsin should probably win this game, but will it be by more than a touchdown? I doubt it.
Well, it'll depend on if they can run the ball, right?
Yeah.
If they can run the ball at will, then they'll win this game by more than 7.5. If they struggle to run the ball, then they'll have a problem.
Plus, they can't get behind. They're another one of those teams they can't get behind.
Yeah, but can Arizona really get that far ahead of you? Getting behind has to be 2 scores to me. 1 score is not really behind, right? That's just you're 1 play away from being tied. But the minute you get 2 scores behind, then if you're challenged offensively, it can be a big deal.
Well, yes, to win the game, but okay, if you're giving up 7.5 as a better, and Wisconsin's down 7-0 in the first quarter, you still feeling good about that bet?
I'm not worried about it in the first quarter. I'm worried about it in the middle of the third quarter. And it depends, too, on the flow of the game and how they scored and all that kind of good stuff. If they score, on some kind of – if the guy drops a punt or something and they get a cheap touchdown, it doesn't concern me as much as if the team's just driving up and down the field and they're able to put points on the board. That concerns me more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, so it's all dependent upon how the game flow is going. Like if Wisconsin's supposed to be good at the run, stopping the run or good on the run on offense, and Arizona's just stuffing the run, then you're concerned, right? But if Wisconsin's running the ball, they're getting fourth, they're getting to 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and they're just incompleting some passes. You got to think as they continue to grind on the run, they'll come back. But if they can't run and they can't run and they can't run, and then they get down 7, you're like, now you're in trouble. Because they're unable to execute their strength.
So are you going to jinx me and take the under as well?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
42 points is a low number, man. Especially in a game I can see going to overtime 17-17.
Well, then they'll just kick field goals and even if they do field goals
and all that kind of crap. But, I mean, it kind of concerns me that it's just such a low number. Plus, you got 2 defensive-oriented teams against 2 offensive, poor-performing teams. A defensive touchdown or 2 changes that whole over-under dynamic, right?
Right.
Because now what happens if you get down 2 scores? Now you got a team that's got to go to throwing the ball when they're not comfortable throwing the ball. That brings sack fumbles in, all sorts of things that might not come in if both teams can effectively run the ball.
Right.
All right, so I'm not doing anything there. I am going to take Pittsburgh without the good quarterback, probably biggest mistake I'll make all year, but good thing is next year is coming so I can make mistakes. College hoops, Sean. Yesterday, I think I picked – so yesterday was the nail in the coffin, dude. I am never, ever, under any circumstances, taking a road team.
Yeah, that was bad.
I took the biggest upset of the night. Not only did the team not cover, they got beat.
Yeah, and I'll tell you how many times that happens. I'll do one of those. You go in and you just pick teams that you don't think are going to lose. And that spread between, say, 13 and 17, there's always one upset every night. That's a big upset like
minus
that.
1,200 to win.
Yeah.
They were one of the biggest favorites to win.
Yep.
Team William and Mary had won,
and they pretty much trailed
the
whole. They trailed the whole game too. It seemed like
they got up by 4 or 5, and I'm like, okay, now let's get on a run. But then the next time the score shifted, they were up 4. Then we went from up 4 to down 2, and I was like, this game's now. As a bettor, I don't know if you're like this, Sean, but as a bettor, are you when you're betting on a team and they're not playing, do you start being like, oh, double fingers, I hope you lose?
Yes and no. And then sometimes what I've been doing now, I'll be honest, I took North Carolina earlier in a bunch of different bets. As soon as that game started going the other way and you could feel that I switched it up. I took South Carolina giving up a touchdown, and I gave minus 7.5, and I also did an alternate line minus 16.5, and I got lucky at the end with that one. So I've started to do that too, and you can kind of just sense the game's going the other way.
Well, it looks like the Purdue game is about to go the other way. They're first and goal at the Tennessee 2-yard line with an opportunity to take the lead after, and I think that'll be just painful for Tennessee because you feel like you're going to go into halftime with the lead and then you're down. That's got to be demoralizing.
Yeah, that's tough.
We'll see how they respond in the second half. Go SEC. All right, Sean, any other things that you want to cover today before we go home?
Well, college basketball, I do have.
Oh, yeah. At least I was talking about college basketball. I got right,
so I'm going to take – this is a weird line to me, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I'm going to take Michigan giving up to 3 to Central Florida. You got Big Ten versus the American. Central Florida really hasn't had any big wins or anything. They're a decent team, but Michigan's only played 2 games on the road.
But they're on the road, Sean. We just went through this 2 seconds ago.
But I'm only giving up 3.
Maybe I should go on Michigan too and see if I can break that curse.
Yeah, they're only giving up 3. They're not giving up 15 or what. Yeah, you were giving up 15 yesterday. So
yeah, but it was a 1-win team that was like the 400th rated offense out of 400 teams. It's like this is a layup, and then just like what in the hell is going on here? Not only do they not cover, they get beat. Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to look into Boston College on that one.
Yeah, so I will take Michigan giving up 3. The only thing I'm concerned about is that line looks a little fishy. Should be a little higher, I feel
it's like a sucker's bet, right? Hey, come take Michigan.
And I had one other one I was looking for, and I can't find it right now. So do you have any college basketball plays?
I have one. I'm not going to break my rule either, Sean.
Going with the home team.
I'm going to go with a home team tonight. And that home team is Oakland, which is in Maryland, which is in Michigan somehow, right? And but a couple games back, they played Michigan State, and they played them really close until like the last couple of minutes. Today they catch a Robert Morris squad their defense efficiency is horrible. Robert Morris, and you have an Oakland squad that actually has some pretty good offensive efficiency numbers. The line is minus 11. I have them covering by about 6 points, so I think they'll win by 17, Sean. So I'm going to take Oakland, a team that really gave Michigan State all they could handle, and see if they can pound Robert Morris today because it's a home team and not a road team. That's it for me.
There you go. So the other one I'm gonna do this one is Maryland giving them 12.5 to Brown. It's funny, we were just talking about Brown the other day with Syracuse. They were only 9.5 point underdogs, and they got completely trashed by Syracuse.
They got smoked.
Yeah. So hopefully
that
Maryland does the
again.
Same thing. Yeah, Maryland does the same thing tonight, giving them 12.
They watched the video. They watched the video tape. So by the way, Purdue did take the lead in the halftime. It looks 19 seconds left. They just kicked off. It's now 23-21. So all those people who backed Purdue after they were down 14 and got themselves a fat plus line are feeling pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, it was pretty. I think it was plus 650 or something like that at one point. So,
which is kind of crazy if you think about it, right?
I took them. So when they were driving the first, sometimes I overreact. Go figure. But when they were driving the first thing of the game, I took them plus 6.5, thinking they would get a touchdown early. I'd get 6.5. So now I'm looking good anyway, but it wasn't looking good for a while.
Well, you know what's crazy to me, Sean? Because we're talking about sports betting, right? So plus 650. If you convert that into horse racing odds, that's 6.5 to 1. So maybe a 7 to 1 horse, right? When you look at 7 to 1 in horse racing, you think that you don't see it as a long shot, right? You see it as a horse that's middle, it's a value play, right? Is what you see it as. You got to get, in order for a horse to be a long shot, to me, it has to be double digits, right? 10 to 1 odds or higher. And in sports betting, if you get 10-1, like if a team is minus 1,000 or plus 1,000, there's no chance you think that team is going to win, unless of course I bet them Hofstra. But it's so different. It's so funny to me how the way people look at lines differently between horse racing and in sports.
Well, yeah, well, and that comes back to you just have two teams. Horses, you got a bunch of different horses. Plus, you're talking horses versus human, and you know that whole thing. So, but I understand what you're saying, and there's a lot more.
Well, to me, what maybe I'm not articulating it correctly. The one thing we hear about sports bettors all the time is they don't like horse racing because of the takeout, right? Mm-hmm. But the fact is, on any given race, you can get a horse that's plus 650, plus 700, right? And that horse has a chance to win if you do your homework, right? A pretty good chance to win. Whereas in sports, if you got a team that's minus 700, man, you think that team has no chance.
Right.
So there's actually, to what I'm trying to say is there's more opportunity to cash nicer tickets in horse racing, yet but a lot of bettors are afraid of horse racing because of the fact of the matter is every race has a plus 700 horse in it. Right. Yeah. And every day, a couple of those at any track win. I just had one in my box that paid $23 today. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 23 is 2,300. Well, it was a $2 bet. So that's a 12-1. That would be minus 1,200. And unless you're betting William Mary against Hofstra, most people aren't going to take teams plus 1,200. No.
Although, like the Tennessee game or Purdue game, and now who knows if they'll win or not, but
even still, Sean, think about it for a minute. That's just so at 7-1 when they're down 14, right? You're only getting plus 650. Now, what percentage of teams that are down 14 points come back to win? So plus 650, let's just move it down to 1,600. What that's saying is they have an 82% chance to lose, right? Mm-hmm. And only an 18% chance to win. So it's really probably closer to like 17.5 with the 650. Mm-hmm. Do you think that a horse that's basically 6-1, 7-1, if you do your homework, that horse only has a 17% chance to win on any given race? That's what the math says, but
yeah, and that would depend on the horse field size and that kind of stuff. So
right. Yeah. I guess my argument is there's more value in betting horses than there is in betting sports. That's the Twitter version, the 150 characters or less version.
There you go.
Uh-huh. All right, man. We got off on a little bit of a side note there. So tell me again what you're playing tonight.
All right. So college football, I got Michigan State giving up 3.5, Arizona State, Wisconsin under 42. And then nothing in the NBA. College basketball, Michigan giving up 3 at Central Florida, going with the road team. And Maryland giving up 12.5 to Brown. Going with the home team. There you go. All right. So I'm going to take the other side of the game. I'm going to take Pittsburgh just to take them plus the points against Michigan State. And then I'm going to take in the NBA. I'm going to take the over in the Cleveland game, which is 210 against Washington. And my theory about players not wanting to play defense in the COVID era, we'll see if that holds up. It held up yesterday, except for a half of a point, right? Well, it held up in the Chicago game pretty easily. That game went way over, right? Yes, it did. Yeah. And then I'm going to take the Golden State Warriors to rebound against Denver, beat them by more than 6. And I'm going to take Oakland at home, Oakland, Michigan, not Oakland, California, to beat Robert Morris by more than 11. That's it for me, Sean. So what are we going to do about NFL? We just going to post again? We can do something tomorrow afternoon. All right, let's do something tomorrow afternoon. Tell me what time, we'll get it done, and then we'll be back tomorrow, Sean and I, to talk about Sunday's NFL slate. Hopefully we can find some winners there. Have a good New Year's Eve, Sean. Yeah, you as well. And I'll see you tomorrow anyway, so anyway, what the hell? What the hell am I talking about? Speaking of next week with the NFL, I kind of forgot, and they don't have it listed, but there'll actually be 2 Saturday games next week. They're doing something for the first time. They'll have 2 Saturday games with that will be meaningful. So we'll see which games end up on Saturday. They're going to put games in Saturday that matter. Not like they're not going to put like the Lions versus like the Falcons or anything like that. No, they're going to wait till so Sunday night, Monday morning. Yeah, Sunday night, Monday morning. Make the announcement of the 2 Saturday games, and then obviously they'll go back to the Sunday night game too. That means something. So, all right, well, that'll be fun. Yeah, we'll see how they
teams into that. Yeah, so it'll be fun. So that'll be a good time. So I look forward to that, Sean. Look forward tomorrow to talk about week 17 in the NFL. Normally the last week of the NFL, but it's the second to last week because what the hell? It's 2021. In 2020, the whole world is upside down. So why should the NFL season be normal?
Yeah.
Right. It used to be like around January 3rd, they were playing the Super Bowl. Now it's like the season's not over.
Yeah.
What was the day of the first Super Bowl game? Super Bowl one? Google it real quick. I think it was like January the 5th or something. Let's see. Google. Let's see what Google does. Google.
I'll say, they were showing Christmas stuff the other day, and there was playoff games in the NFL on Christmas. So
Super Bowl one, Sean, was played on January 15th.
There you go.
So now on January 15th, it's week 18 or whatever, right?
Well, pretty close. Yeah.
The season's not even almost over then.
And the Super Bowl is 3 or 4 weeks later.
Yeah, but soon the Super Bowl is going to be like it's going to invade the space of March Madness. Watch. All right, Sean. I will see you tomorrow to talk about football. Everybody, we hope that you have nothing but winners tonight, Sean. Where should everybody go?
Facebook, Twitter, Moneyline Madmen, and then MoneylineMadmen.com.
Yes, and give us a subscription here on YouTube too, so that we can get to 100 and get that vanity URL. Good luck with your bets, everybody. Hope every single one of them stuffs your dirty pockets full of that rotten capitalistic cash.